Hello, and today I'm going to be talking about having an abundance mindset and essentially how to change your perspective. So, I've already been talking in this series about how to attract abundance and how to feel more abundant, but it doesn't really work until we change our outlook on life and we change how we see the world and how we see the things that are happening to us. So sometimes we might say to ourselves, well, actually, this abundance stuff is fine for other people. It worked for a little bit, then it stopped working on the things that were most important. So we might give up, or we might think, okay, for those people who've got easier circumstances than we have, it's okay for them. They've had it a little bit more easy than we've had it. So, it's not my fault that this thing isn't working. And we really want the abundance, but we just can't get it to work actually in our lives the way that we want it to. So, what I'm going to talk about today are 3 ways. We could call them hacks, we could call them tips or hints or tips. So 3 ways that we can actually achieve that abundance mindset, create that abundance mindset by changing our perspective. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is reframing our negative thoughts. We do have lots of thoughts that run through our head all of the time, and they're not always positive. And sometimes what we do is we hold on to them and we ruminate on them, and then we actually make them a lot more intense and we give them validity, and then they hang about, and then we wonder why we aren't feeling too good, why things aren't happening the way we want them to happen. And that's because we've created all of that in our heads. We fall into the trap of scarcity thinking, which is never good. And we can actually reframe that thinking into something that's far more positive. Using affirmations is going to really help us on this. And I mentioned affirmations before, but it's true. If we use affirmations, if we reprogram and rewire our brains with positive words that we say to ourselves, positive phrases that we say, we can stop that scarcity thinking dead in its tracks. So using positive affirmations such as, I have everything I need to be successful. Today is a fantastic day. I am living my best life. I am where I'm supposed to be. Any of those and any of your own are really great at directing the pace of our day, directing us towards being more positive, directing us towards having more of an abundance mindset. So, first thing is reframe negative thoughts and try and catch every single thought and change it by creating and adding an affirmation that just reverses that situation. So when you think you don't have enough, you are going to tell yourself, I have everything I need. When you think that opportunities are passing you by, you are going to tell yourself, opportunities never pass me by, and the right opportunity is waiting for me. Secondly, you're irritating me, baby. Go on. So number 2, we're going to be solution focused rather than problem focused. And when we focus on the problem, we just make the problem bigger. It doesn't matter what the problem is. And it can be very tempting to focus on the problem because it's staring us in the face, because it's immediate, because we have to deal with it, and because it's worrying us and negatively impacting us. But if we can take a step back and look at that problem, write it down, maybe talk it through with a trusted friend, and try and think about ways that we can see a solution for that problem, then we can create a way to tell our brains that something positive is going to come out of this situation. Problems are always going to come. Every single day there are problems, but we don't have to focus on them every single day, and we don't have to make them bigger than they need to be in that moment. Let's flip it around and let's say to ourselves, what's my next step? What thing could I do now to sort this problem out? Who do I need to ask for help? Who do I need to give this problem to? Because sometimes we take things on and it's nothing to do with us. It's none of our business, but we've stepped in because we're trying to help, and now we're the ones with an extra problem. What we sometimes need to do is hand that problem back, or just don't take it on in the first place, because actually we've got enough to deal with in our own lives without taking on unnecessary things that don't serve us. So we need to think about this. We are not doing ourselves any good if we're being burdened and worried and upset by other people's issues, when actually they should really sort it out themselves. And we know when these situations are the ones to give back, because we have that intuition inside. We know when it's right to hand it back, but at other times we know when it's right to help out. So let's make that distinction there. Is it a problem that you need to find a solution to, or is the solution to the problem to hand the problem back? So that's one way as well that we can think about it. And a way that we can practically solve a problem is to pause, take a breath, step back, don't react in the moment, give ourselves some space, and then think of 3 solutions in the first instance. Can we think of 3 things that will solve this problem? Number 3, for how we can change our perspective, is to see setbacks as setups. So, or see our setback as a redirection, because not everything works out the way we want it to work out. And if we hold on too tightly to the outcome, we could get so disappointed, so hurt, so upset, so frustrated by the thing that didn't work, by the situation that didn't work out the way we wanted it to, that we don't see any way through. And sometimes we don't realise that that wasn't always the best way. So if we see setbacks as a redirection, we will automatically start becoming far more positive, and we'll automatically start seeing the abundance in that situation, in the sense that something is going to work out for my good. And if we start saying that to ourselves, then that is exactly what is going to happen. It can't help but happen, because words are really, really powerful. And when we recognize the power that words have in our own lives, when we speak them about our situations, we'll choose our words even more carefully in the future. Now, we know that words are powerful, because if at any point in your life someone has said anything negative to you, you know that it stung. You can probably recall it. You can probably think about the day that it happened, what you were wearing, what they were wearing, how you felt. So potent, aggressive, destructive words can have a negative impact on our lives, and they can sit and linger within us for years and years and years, causing bitterness, resentment, pain, and all manner of horrible, horrible things can be as a result of negative words. So if we know just from negative words how impacted we can be, then we need to flip that on its head and start using our words in a much more powerful way. And with our powerful, positive words, we can affect healing and change and abundance and happiness and wealth and joy and all the positive things that are going to far outweigh and sort of put into balance our lives, and far outweigh all those negative things, those negative words that have been spoken over us in our lifetime. So changing our perspective is another step into creating an abundance mindset. It's a practical step to creating an abundance mindset. It's not necessarily the easiest step, and it's going to take some digging our heels in and just getting down and dirty with how we've previously been behaving and thinking, and our attitudes to things, and sort of looking at ourselves head on and saying, do you know what? I've got stinking thinking, and I need to sort it out. I need to change it. And the only person who can change that is me. I'm going to take responsibility and I'm going to change my perspective. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about reframing any negative thoughts, such as I don't have enough, this won't come through for me, this won't happen for me, to I always have enough, I have endless opportunities and everything's going to turn out my way. First thing, reframe our negative thoughts. Secondly, we're going to focus on solutions and not problems, because then we're going to open up opportunities for ourselves. We're going to see the good in the situation and we're going to be able to spread that positivity around. And people, believe it or not, prefer problem solvers than people who create problems or just bring a problem to your door and just leave it. Think about the people that we know in our lives who try and solve the problems rather than just creating more or just leaving them as they are. We prefer those people. So be that person who solves problems. Acknowledge the problem, because problems are real, acknowledge it, but think about a way to solve that problem. And thirdly, attempt to see your setbacks as a redirection. Think of some of them as keeping you safe or keeping you protected or providing you with the opportunity of having something even better than you probably were hoping for or dreaming of. So if we can do those three things, we can change our perspective, we can move towards a more abundant mindset. It's all been very practical, all been very hands-on. There's nothing woo-woo about it in that sense. It's doable. We do it, we're going to see a difference. It's going to make a real change in our lives. We are absolutely going to be far more abundant, feel abundant, live abundantly, and experience just a wonderful abundant life, and that will spread out to those people around us. So I hope you enjoyed this segment today on how to change your perspective. It's all part of the abundance mindset series that I'm doing at the moment. There is a mini ebook that goes with this where there's more hints and tips in there as well, and also it's written down in a format that you can just go back to. There are action steps, there's ideas for you to take in there as well. And I will link that mini ebook in the description so that you can get your hands on a copy. And thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Take care.